We're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. This is the Keeper's Corner podcast with your hosts, Matt Sterling and Brandon Brooks. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Keeper Corner podcast. Matt and Brandon are here once again for a post-holiday / in-between holiday recap of a bit of a Christmas miracle in Utica.
I would say so.
But before we get into it, Brandon, sir, how you doing? How was your holidays?
It wasn't bad. It was, a little rocky, considering you could probably hear my nose. So, it was, didn't come out of it unscathed. So unfortunately, I did not go on Sunday, which always sucks when I can't go to a game. Definitely, initially I was glad I didn't, and then I was very, very sad that I didn't. But yeah, no, otherwise it was pretty good. What about yourself?
Yeah, it's the holidays. You got around, you saw family, and we're still here, so nobody killed each other over family dinner, and that's always a good thing.
That is always a good thing.
And having to drive back in this.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get that.
And looking ahead, Wednesday's not looking great for that New Year's Eve.
No, it is not. It is, the next couple days are looking kind of rough. We got some to send. Yeah. We'll send it your way, don't worry. Yep. Yeah, it's not what I'm looking forward to at all. No, wait. No, I haven't messed with anything. Hang on.
Hear me.
He just talked about snow, and we can send it places.
Snow, my God. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. 6-7.
I hate you. I hate you so much. Oh my God. I think I know what it was.
Oh? What'd you do?
You initially sounded double to me, so I changed the desktop audio to monitor and mute output, and I think, yeah, that's what did it. All right. So yeah, it was me. I did cause it. My bad. You didn't need to hear him anyway. He was just talking about snow.
Yeah, snow and not killing each other at family Christmas. So.
Yes. Yeah, see? It wasn't anything super
nothing
important.
impressive. But we were just about to get into our recap of the 7-6 overtime comeback, which was quite a change from what happened 3 weeks ago.
Not at all what I expected.
No.
Did not expect coming out of that. Well, no, obviously. I mean, look at our predictions.
Yeah, I mean, I was really close.
Yeah. On team.
Yeah, pretty close. Look, if you think that 2 out of 3 games are going to end on a shorthanded goal in overtime,
yeah,
that is just not likely.
That is some ridiculous
I will
foresight.
bet against that every day of the year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not taking that bet. Sorry.
Well, Utica pulled off a highly unlikely upset, or yeah, I'd call it an upset given the way they played in the first 2 games.
Yep.
And got their first win of the season against the Milwaukee Wave, who are coming in just as shorthanded as Utica is, and with a less fresh set of legs.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I think that's really what made the difference. because you could see them slowing down towards the end, whereas we still had energy to spare. So I honestly think that had a little bit to do with it towards the end, because they didn't have much hustle left over, especially for overtime.
Yeah, we're certainly going to want to talk tactics in this one, because I think that also played a very large part of the story. So, Brandon, before we go any further, we should go about our usual 4 parts of
Yes, go about our
recap.
business.
What is your stat that tells the story?
Probably something similar to yours. It might be something around the number 6, considering we went 6 unanswered. I again did not have that on my bingo card. I mean, the fact that we not only held them but scored 6 unanswered goals. We scored on special teams with a 6th attacker. We scored shorthanded. That's not something we normally see out of Utica. So, very surprised, but 6 unanswered, man. That was a shock.
Yeah, very impressive stretch of soccer there to close out this game. Especially after being outscored 6-1 up to that point.
Yep.
Including spotting Milwaukee a 4-0 lead.
Yeah.
which for Milwaukee had to feel like a breath of fresh air, because just the day previous they went down to Baltimore and spotted Baltimore a 5-0 lead before trying to mount their comeback.
I was going to say it was 7-1 at one point.
Yeah.
It was oof.
No, my stat that tells the story is the shift in shots that Milwaukee took. In the first quarter, when they dropped 4 goals on Utica, they got 10 shots off. And some of it was Utica tightening up their defense, which is something we have been asking them to do.
Yep.
It was a lot cleaner down the stretch. Some of it was, all right, we have a lead. Let's try not to turn this game into a high-paced fiasco where us with tired legs are going to be at a disadvantage.
Right.
So they got 10 shots on goal in the first quarter. They got 7 shots on goal combined the rest of the game. Huge step up for the defense.
Definite change, definite shift in momentum. I mean,
sorry, I guess I should say 9 shots. I wasn't including overtime.
That's why I gave you a look. I'm like, I see
like, 1,
3
2,
twos
3.
there.
I only need to count. Yeah. So 3 quarters and a little bit less shots than they got in the first 15 minutes.
I mean, definite shift in the performance of Utica to kind of lock down those shots and stop just allowing every opportunity that is presented to let them shoot. Not saying that their defense is anywhere near perfect, because it still needs a lot of work, but that was a nice shift in the right direction.
Brad, we're going to move along to my play that changed the game. And it's not one you're going to see on TV. Because the play that changed the game were the coaching adjustments and talking to from Everton that players got in the halftime.
Yeah.
Milwaukee up 5-1. You could see it in the second half. They tried to do the thing that we have yelled at Utica for doing over the years, which is sitting on a lead and just playing not to lose from that point out. They were obviously tired from the day before. Travel's not easy, even if they did play on the micro turf. And
the one remaining micro turf.
Yes, I don't know if it was for injury reasons or not, but they chose to sit Willie B and go with their backup keeper, who had a very solid game overall, but just unfortunate there down the stretch as he caught a flurry of shots from Utica in the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Perez played one heck of a game. Like he stood on his head for a lot of that game, making a good bit of saves. I mean, he still was what is it? 9 saves on 16 shots. So I mean, he only he only had a 56. So on paper it doesn't look like much, but the saves he did make were pretty impressive, and even some of the ones he almost made. One in particular, which I'll get to.
I mean, like the one on the floor where he got the hand up and saved it. It's like something we've talked about with Wilkin over the first couple of games.
Yep.
And I don't know if you had the chance yet to watch MASL Monday.
No,
Well,
I
Everton
haven't.
was on, and he was asked, "Hey, what'd you say to the guys at halftime? And any changes?" He goes, "Yeah, I didn't really change much. Um, I don't think I should repeat what I said to them." So you have an idea of what the tone was, and he did stress that this is not the product that we expect to put out. We believe we're better than this. We know we're young, and we'll get better, but we still have enough talent that it shouldn't look as bad as it did in the first half.
Yeah.
And that he challenged a couple of the veteran guys, and specifically Sergio Pinal, to step it up in the second half. He did also throw around that, this is a high performance sport, and when performance expectations are not met, it can mean bringing in other players either through free agency or trade.
Yeah.
So, like, without knowing the halftime speech, it sounds like a reaming.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sure he gave him the business. Which, I mean, they needed it. Let's be honest, they needed it because I mean they were getting a hell of a drumming in that first half. Like it was, in most scenarios, I would have shut off the game because it was just like I know exactly how this is going to end because we've seen it in the past. But for whatever reason, this time I kept it on. I'm like, I'm going to watch this thing to the end, and I still can't believe what I saw.
Yeah. All right, Brandon, what was your play that changed the game?
So surprisingly, I have 2 that were tied, and I can't really pick one over the other. The first was actually another coaching decision. It was the challenge in the fourth quarter of the blue card against, I think it was Tavares, who looked like they slide tackled Steinwasser, but he pulled his legs back, and it was clear and obvious on the tape that there was no penalty there. It was straight embellishment. And I'm like, okay, in my head, I'm saying to myself, okay, can they even reverse this? Because it's not what was being challenged, but it is still a clear error in calling the game. So it's like, and the fact that got reversed, I think changed the whole course of the end game there, because it was still 6-4 at that point. So we still were 2 behind with like 5 minutes left, 4.5, I think. So I think if that had gone the other way, it was over at that point. The second one was, and I didn't pull this one up like I should have, but I believe it was Pinal's second goal, which was the one that I was kind of alluding to, where it was like, I think Gio toe pokes it in and it gets blocked, and then someone else tries to poke it in, it gets blocked, and then Pinal finishes us off with another poke in the far corner. Everybody's just piled in the front of the goal, and we just kept trying and trying and trying and trying and trying until it finally went in the goal. If that hadn't gone in, I think it would have been a completely different story as well. So I literally think those 2 plays are what shaped the second half, because those really put momentum in Utica's corner. One started the momentum, and one just carried it through to the end of the game. So
yeah, No, I could definitely see those. Definitely see those as moments that helped swing things in Utica's direction. Um, quick little note from the chat. Well respected preserver. Wasn't a play but a moment. After they went down 6-1, things got a little chippy in front of the goal.
Yep.
At least that helped spark it. Um, yeah, I mean,
I could see that. We saw a little bit of Andrew Coughlin come out of Wilkin there. Game of the season, I would say game of the season so far, because there's still a lot of season left.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we could see a lot more, but yeah, I mean, right now, I don't want to say it wasn't their best performance overall. I still think the first game was their best performance. It's just they fumbled it.
Yeah, it'll certainly be a tough one to top for the emotional roller coaster ride.
Take the first game, the first half of the first game, and the second half of this game, combine them and play every game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Well, Brandon, that's a good little pivot point for what needs to change coming out of this game.
My opinion hasn't changed. I still think we need a lot of work on defense. I still think we need some sort of veteran presence on defense. I mean, there's at least, I don't know if he's even playing or if it's a visa issue, but I know there's some defensive talent out there that didn't re-sign with some clubs. I know, like, example, not saying it would have to be him, but like Israel Cisse, he didn't re-sign with Empire. I would absolutely love to see a veteran defender come into this club and really help to shape the defense, because Everton, he's great at formulating, offensive stuff, but he does still he does still kind of lack in the defensive side of things. And I think just getting a defensive mindset in there, a really good defensive, I keep saying defensive, either coach or player, like an assistant player coach type deal, or just getting a veteran defender back there, I think would really help. Because as much as I hate to say this, and I really hate to say this, the past couple games, Juan has looked very lost. And I was very surprised that he had the captain armband on. I get it that he is, and this hurts because I freaking adore Juan. Like, I've sung his praises on this podcast year after year, and I don't feel like he would necessarily be a proper captain. But I mean, I know he's not, and I also have a hard time feeling the same way about Logan. I understand he's the veteran player on the team out of everyone. He's the OG, but we really need a really seasoned veteran presence in the back, especially now that Logan's injured again. Supposedly he is potentially going to be back this week, but we'll see, because he's always been injury prone.
Unfortunately, it's been, he had that really healthy season a couple years ago, and then ankles, man, they're. I don't get to say anything about ankles. I wear ankle braces every day for my job because I'm on my feet 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, and to address the chat, because I knew that Steph was going to come up in this. There's no way. I do not see us bringing Steph back. Like, I would be very surprised if we did. And I don't see how well he would fit in this team. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing him fitting in this team. I mean, he would tower over most of them, but
he'd had some size and physicality, and
yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, you could tell, for anyone that didn't know, Stefan Mijatovic was cut from the Kansas City roster on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was not universally received within that locker room
Yeah.
because after scoring a goal, Reggett broke out the name tag from Steph's locker room to celebrate.
I saw that.
To celebrate.
Yep.
Look, is Steph trouble? Yeah. Is he worth the trouble? Was Dennis Rodman worth the trouble for the Bulls after they stole him from the bad boy Pistons?
I mean, he's an amazing player. He's a great person. Like, I have nothing against Steph whatsoever. And he's great on the field. He's a brute on the field, and I would never hold that against him. I don't know. I just don't see it.
Look, this is like a soapbox moment for me because I am a huge fan of villain players, and it is something that this league is far too soft about, especially when you get into certain fan groups. Where things tend to get off the wall or something like that. The
Really?
biggest, yes. I already mentioned Dennis Rodman. Ron Artest signed with the Lakers to help him win. Ron Artest, if you're unaware of the Malice in the Palace incident, had a beer chucked at him, and he went into the crowd, like over the bench, over fans, into the crowd, and punched a fan.
Yeah.
There's a great Netflix documentary about the Malice in the Palace.
Yeah.
And like you can tell some of these guys, like Jermaine O'Neal, just they don't want to talk about it. They don't have good, it's oh my God. It hit the fan with that moment.
Yeah. Yep.
Villains are great for sports leagues because fans love to hate them. And nothing generates content and clicks and media interactions nearly as much as bad actors.
Yeah.
Vontae's perfect in the NFL. Pac-Man Jones was a huge name back in the day. I mean, the Steelers just had their star wide receiver DK Metcalf hit a fan in the face and get a 2-game suspension.
Mm-hmm.
If that happened in this league, it'd be like 6 games and mandatory anger management issues, blah, 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 blah. You tolerate it to a point.
Right.
Like, there's the incident with Huffman throwing a guy into the boards a few weeks ago, and he got 5 games total in his suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I saw that and went, that's probably 6, and a warning that the next one will be suspension for the rest of the season.
I could definitely see that.
I would say he's probably 2 major incidents away from like a full ban.
I don't know. He's gotten away with a lot over the years. I mean, and they keep taking him back.
2's being generous. But like I said, you tolerate the villains.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see how they, put butts in seats.
Yeah.
Which, obviously, Utica wants really bad.
Utica needs really bad with the weather, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, there's that, too.
As disheartening as the performance for the final 3 minutes of the first game and the entirety of the second game and the first half of the third game was, winning solves all your problems.
It does. It sure does.
But not if we're going to be dealing with lake effect and freezing rain and a foot of snow and a foot of snow and a foot of snow, or at least the threat for it every other day.
Sorry, I was speaking of snow. I was listening to the wind picking up outside.
Yeah. All right, so we'll get back on track. But what needs to change coming out of this game for me?
Hmm?
And I'm going to echo Everton from MASL Monday today. They have to play a complete game.
We've been saying that all season.
They have to. Yes, the roster is very young. Yes, there are a lot of guys new to indoor. Newish, or they played at the M2 level. But they've been playing soccer their entire lives.
Yep.
They know how to play a full game. They need to pull it together and play a full 60 minutes. There is no taking plays off in this. Because if you take plays off, you'll find yourself out of rotation. Once you're out of the rotation, boy, it can be hard to find your way back in.
Agreed.
All right, positive takeaway.
Am I starting this one?
Nah, I mean, what's
I actually have one.
the positive takeaway is somehow the meme magic worked.
Oh God.
As much as we griped in our little chat about the kids in the stands, every time they cut to the camera, 6-7, 6-7, 6-7. What was the final score to the game?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's the jerseys. It's the new jerseys. That's what it is.
I was going to talk about those next.
I don't care. I figured you were. I'm saying it now. That's why.
Yeah.
It was the jerseys. It wasn't that other thing.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, what's your positive takeaway?
So one of the things that we've always seen in this team, year after year after year, when we get down, we might fight out of it a little ways, but we never truly fight out of most deficits. This team fought out of one of the biggest deficits I think that they've been in, and actually made it an interesting game in the past, but in this case, actually fought out of it and won. So, I mean, most of the time when we see them go down, especially that far, and they start getting frustrated and they start getting chippy and things like that, it just gets from bad to worse almost every single time. So the fact that we were able to see them not only fight out of it, but win was a breath of fresh air, because it just shows that this team is in fact capable of pulling off a deficit, a comeback, a real comeback. So, I mean, that's a huge change from past years, where we just, anytime they went down by a decent bit, it was just an impossible climb. So I have a bit more faith in this team if they do end up going down in that deep of in any deficit other than the Chihuahua deficit. So,
all right, Brandon, let's I guess we'll touch social media and jerseys on this, because they kind of go hand in hand.
They do.
And we kind of lambasted Utica for their poor broadcast quality, with the audio clipping, which continues, and the commercials being twice as loud as the regular broadcast, which continues. But social media is where they've generally continued to hit it out of the park. And then game day rolled around, and it's 2 hours before first kick, less than 2 hours, and nothing's been posted. And then the game gets going, and we're halfway through the second quarter before I get an update from the Utica account. I've been getting the MASL updates as they come through, but I'm not getting the Utica ones, and I get the first quarter just ended.
Yeah.
About 3/4 of the way through the second quarter. And then I get the halftime update about halfway through the third quarter. So they're kind of lacking there. And you have these new jerseys, new design for the Blues, and nothing.
Nothing.
A peep. What? Come on. You have free content right there.
Oh, yeah.
To pair with the fact that you're now doing pregame autograph sessions. And all you have to do is be like, hey, come check out the new jerseys up here in the concourse before the game.
Yeah.
Something to get people excited.
Oh, yeah. No, it would have made a heck of a difference. It would have definitely generated more traffic in the team store if people had known that there was new jerseys to potentially get. Because some people, they want to have every single jersey that the team has.
Yeah, it's not like people get gift cards or anything for Christmas that they could use towards that.
So I was shocked that the only way that we had actually heard about it or seen them was just a social media post that wasn't even them.
Yeah, as players taking pictures for their game day stories on
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah, like that was a misplay on their part.
And it took me like 3 of the jerseys before I was like, oh wait, that's new.
Those don't look familiar.
Yeah. Thoughts on the jersey?
It's different. Um, when I initially saw the picture, I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've seen them on the players in the game, I don't think they're terrible. I do like the fact that they're not. I mean, we've had the same jerseys. Basically, I know we've had different logos and a slightly different design, but this is the
Yeah.
first time that they've really stepped out and done a completely different design on them instead of
Mm-hmm.
doing like kind of like the top half, bottom half. Now they can kind of split it vertically, and I don't hate them. I think it's a nice change, and of course now there's a nice a good taste in our mouth after winning our first game with them on. So of course people are going to be like, "Oh, those are great jerseys."
Yeah, so I like the pop that you get from the white accents on like the end of the sleeve and on the collar.
Yep.
Uh, I think I would have liked the collar a bit more if it was more like the traditional fold down collar,
Oh, true,
like you
true.
see on some jerseys. I think that would look nice.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not a huge fan of them being half dark blue, half light blue, the way they are, because on the broadcast it just looks a little off on the like on the larger image. It almost looks like, wait, is something wrong with the color on my TV, or is there something wrong with the broadcast? Because it's the same color as their shorts on half of it, and then
Yep.
just wait, that's wrong. It also really blends into the turf.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I don't know. To me, I guess when I was watching the broadcast, it to me almost looked like a gradient. Which again, I didn't hate. Um, but again, I could definitely see where people wouldn't like it.
Hmm.
But again, I it kind of grew on me. Um, More so than I thought it would. So
Yeah, we'll see how it looks moving forward. Um, I think it might have worked better if that was like the blue and the white, and you were doing that as like a paint splotch kind of design instead of just split down the middle
yeah, 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 yeah.
as much as it is. But otherwise, it's not terrible. I don't know. I give it like a B minus.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
It's more creative than some of them we've seen from Capelli, but it's not one that makes me, like, oh yeah, that's a game changer.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a. It's not like a wow. It doesn't have that wow factor, but
Yeah.
it changes the pace a little bit. Just because literally just because of the horizontal to vertical change.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, that's the first thing that my eye catches when I see that is just how they changed the layout of it.
Hmm. All right, Brandon. Let's move on to our predictions here for this week. So we got 2 games. It's a home and home series against Baltimore. They play at 3 p.m. on New Year's Eve in Utica. Sunday's game was moved up to
Yeah.
1 p.m.
Okay. I was just making sure you
Uh,
got that. I figured you did.
yeah, the Baltimore Ravens play against the Steelers at 8 at night. So this gives everybody plenty of time to get out, get home, have their meal in the Baltimore area, and see if the Ravens can make the playoffs or if the Steelers will fulfill the prophecy of 10-7 before getting bounced in the first round.
I have nothing to comment.
Oh, that's the great thing about watching all the sports except hockey, apparently. I'm tapped into all the fun little superstitions.
I mean, for the first time in a while, my team got the AFC East. So I mean,
Oh, the first time in a while, my team that won 6 championships.
okay, let's be fair. It was
And
one
all
guy.
the division titles
It was one guy that
for a
was doing a lot of
decade
that
and a
work.
half.
Yeah, and what did they do before that?
I don't know.
Exactly. They did a
I
whole
was
lot of
not watching
nothing.
sports before then.
They
Anything that happened before like 2000 barely counts. And I say that as a Yankees fan who's upset with the team currently because I still have. It probably won't show up because of the blurred background. But yeah, no.
Yep.
Okay, come on. There we go. 2000 champions, Subway Series score. The T-shirt was turned into a pillow for Christmas a few years ago. Like I cling to the 90s even though I can not remember any of it. So Brandon, predictions.
Oh hell.
Or would you like to go over? Actually, we should recap. So after the first 2 weeks, I was up 6-1 in our point score system. And Brad had predicted a 9-5 loss. I called an 8-6 loss. Since neither of us predicted the win correctly, nobody gets that point. I was closer on Milwaukee's score. I get that point. I was closer on Utica's score. I get that point. And I was closer on the goal differential. I get that point. So it is now 9-1 as we roll into game 4 and 5 this week.
Yeah. Blah blah blah.
Brandon, are you planning on showing up this year or just handing me this crown?
Have I never show up for. I don't even show up for fantasy football. Like I took last in our fantasy football league at work a couple years in a row. So
I mean, I took last year, if you remember. I had to do a whole thing in one of our intros about it.
oh yeah, I do remember that. Yep.
And then my league imploded this year.
Yeah, I don't expect to get good predictions in. I just like to make it interesting. That's what we'll go with. It saves my pride a little.
Yeah, we.
So, I know we kind of already talked about this offline. Oh no, I do. I at least remember my Wednesday one, and I just remembered my Sunday one. So I guess I'm good. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Just say which one. Do you want to knock out first, or do I need to help you out with your predictions?
No. So Wednesday, it's Baltimore struggled away from home. We've seen that. They lost both games in Tacoma, but they've been solid at home, which is typical for them. So I think they continue to struggle on the field. And I think that this potentially will net Utica its second win. I think because, again, I think the defense is a little bit slacking. It's going to be a higher scoring game, which is why I'm going to go with 8-6.
Going 8-6. 8-6. All right. Yeah. Who's winning in the 8-6?
Utica.
Utica to win. Predicting that Utica win for the first time. No, second time this year.
I was gonna say I was thinking about that earlier. I'm like I've predicted them to win at least once before. The second Kansas City game, I think it was.
Well, for this one, we're on the same side. I'm also picking them to win. Less to do with Utica and more to do with Baltimore, who looked pretty mediocre once they got up to Tacoma and playing away from the comfy confines of the Towson Arena.
Yep.
Yeah, we've seen that over the years. They tend to struggle away from home. Yes, they took 2 out of 3 in Utica last year.
Yep.
So I would not put it out of the question for them to come in and take 1 or 2 this year.
I agree as well. I think, they still for some reason have a decent time on our turf.
Even though most of the players are gone from the Syracuse-Baltimore rivalry, these teams still do not like each other.
What gave you that idea?
Maybe the elbows and punches and slaps and stuff that got tossed around a bit last year.
Pish posh.
Um, yeah, I'm taking Utica 7-5. A little lower scoring. I like Baltimore's defense, and they did force Milwaukee to overtime at the UW Arena.
Which is definitely hard to do.
But against Tacoma, where Tacoma's game plan is, we're just gonna park the bus and see if you can beat us that way.
Yeah.
Tacoma held them to 2 and then beat them 8-6.
Oh, hey. I didn't even realize that was the other score.
Mm-hmm. As for Sunday's matchup, I'm taking Baltimore in that one. It's that small field. They've been so much better at home.
Oh, yeah.
They've scored 11 and 10 in their 2 home games so far,
Yep.
while holding their opponent, Kansas City, in the first one to 3 goals, and then Milwaukee to 7. And like we said, Milwaukee spotted them a 5-0 lead basically before trying to claw their way back in, and like you said, it had swollen to 7-1.
7-1. Yeah, it was a tough one to watch. Mainly because the audio was doubled for a little while, which they got called out for by Kansas City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Broadcast quality. Not to say we were much better yesterday, but
broadcast standards, no, not really.
We got better. I will say that the broadcast yesterday did get better after introductions, because at first he was blowing out his mic, and then they figured that out.
Yeah.
So,
if we could just figure out the balance between commercials and broadcast.
Yeah. We'll get there the end of the season, and then we'll lose all those settings in the next season.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm taking Baltimore 10-6 down there.
I'm gonna take a team that's not even playing. Well, yeah. Anyway, don't give me that look. It's funny. I look up there to respond to your look, even though you're down here on my other screen. So I'm looking at this. Well, I know that you're like, yeah, that. Yep. Boy, the people who are only in the audio only version, you're missing out. I'm telling you.
Well, they'll be able to catch it a little bit later. I maybe forgot to hit record on my end, so I'll have to wait till I can get it off of YouTube tomorrow.
I have no words other than my prediction, which I'm a little less optimistic. I think that we're going to be fighting out of another hole again, similar to what Baltimore had, or what Milwaukee had to do in Baltimore, and what we had to do against Milwaukee at home. And I think this is going to definitely be it's going to be a double digits. I know you had double digits as well. I think this one, keep me honest, because I don't remember what I put for Utica now, but I think I had 11-6 or 11-5. I don't remember which one I put. I at least told them the one ahead of time. I just don't remember which one I put for this one. I know it was 11 something.
You went 11-7.
11-7. All right. Yeah, I'll stick with that. Just because when Utica can nail their counterattack, they nail it. And they're quick on the counter, and they get the quick scores. And Baltimore is the place to do it because of the small field. But they are also very susceptible to the counterattack, which is why I see them also having issues. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think 11-7 is where it's going to be at.
All right. I'll take a split. If we could get those 3 points in regulation without going to overtime, that would be very nice. Since, if you go check the standings now, due to games in hand, we are ahead of the Empire Strikers. And we also have one point. They have their overtime win, and then they've lost 3 in regulation since.
Yep. which was still a great win.
Mm-hmm. And we're only a point behind San Diego, and that's because their one win came in regulation and ours came in overtime.
Yep.
But still a lot of games to be played. 21 left. Which if Junior Pinal keeps his current pace, he'll have an 88 point season.
Junior was the unsung hero last season because he got overshadowed by Kelvin. This season, he's able to shine, and we're able to see the potential he has. I mean, he's got a... What are we at? This was our, third game?
Third game.
And he's got basically a hat trick every game. No, not a hat trick. He's gotten 2 goals every game, but he's gotten 11 points, I think, total. So, like, he is doing very well. And, you know, we just didn't get to see it last season. Heck, I think he sat for quite a few games, too, because they just didn't have a spot for him on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's played 3 games. He's got 6 goals, 5 assists. I mean, the guy's doing great. If he can keep it up and, you know, we can get Milton back on the field, I mean, and potentially even Calvin, like, that's going to be a heck of a squad. We're going to have a couple of really good lines to go with. And, I mean, I see a lot of potential with some of these newer guys, too. I mean, we saw a little bit of it last year. I mean, Kyle Gengrich, I mean, that steal to a goal this past game was fabulous. You know, I see him just being a little menace. He kind of reminds me of Rafa to an extent. A younger Rafa, less experienced Rafa.
Mm-hmm.
But
like a Rochester Lancers kind of Rafa.
Maybe.
Okay. I just was wondering how young we were going.
I hadn't seen much of Rafa on the Lancers, so I can't really speak to that. Too much, anyway. Hey, you know what? We got the best penalty kill in the league, I think.
100%.
That's a positive.
Yeah, it's wild that it took 3 games, 2 games, and 59 minutes and 59.4 seconds to pick up our first blue card.
We play a clean game, apparently.
You know, for a team that we complained about in the past for making dumb fouls.
They've cleaned it up.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that the slide was a perfect example of that. Like he saw he was gonna foul him, and so he pulled his legs back. Like he didn't even touch him, and that saved us a blue card. Luckily, we had it reviewed, even though that's not what we had reviewed. We had something else reviewed.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll end up under review.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, that's gonna be. I would be shocked if that wasn't on review under review. But I mean, again, I think the way you and I talked about it offline. I mean, it was a clear and obvious foul or clear and obvious error, and it was right there in front of their face on the review or on the tape. So I mean, you can't ignore it.
Yeah, the other one that I'm sure we'll see coming down this week was the Christian Andreas incident in Kansas City.
Oh yeah.
You know, I brought him up in comments elsewhere with the Huffman one where he got thrown into the boards. Like, weird that Andreas, who swung first and has a history of dirty/injuring players.
Yep.
Didn't get anything out of that, and here we are a week later where he shoves, he taunts, there's a clear fake embellishment from the St. Louis player, Torrealba.
Yep.
All right, that's get a little fine there for that, and probably a 1-game suspension due to previous history.
Yeah.
And you love a villain, but they need to know that they can walk up to that line. They can stand at the line and scream all they want. You can't cross it.
Right. Not supposed to be able to anyway.
Yeah. You can play physical without playing reckless.
Yes.
I believe that's going to be everything for us tonight. Kind of a short one.
Yeah.
Not too bad. What was that?
My leg cramped. I was like
Caitlin, no.
I was like tucking my leg underneath my chair, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, leg's cramping up.
Mm-hmm. All right. You know where to find us on social media. Facebook and Instagram are pretty much where we do our thing. We'll be back here next Monday at 7 o'clock talking about the 2 Baltimore Blast games. And, Brandon, you love your Sogs, and I love to say, go Utica. Have a great night, everyone.
And Happy New Year. I was going to say, until next, we'll see y'all next year.
Disappointed in you, Froggies. You were my only hope.
Thank you for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast on whatever podcast app you use. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to interact with us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it. We have a TeePublic shop where you can get UCFC player swag or help support the podcast. Thank you. We appreciate it. And one last thing, go Utica City.